it's important for people to understand that like we are all humans and we all struggle, and it's okay to admit when you need to step back or take a break or slow down. And productivity is not always equal, does not equal worth. It does not make you a better person if you're going 24/7.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Coach Cody podcast. It's been a while since we've done an episode, but we're back. Just wanted to give you some updates, tell you why we were gone. We do have legitimate reasons. But yeah, Des, welcome back. And for
Hi.
anyone who wasn't here for the past few episodes before we took a break, Des is now joining me as co-host on the Coach Cody podcast. So welcome back
Hello.
to the podcast. How are you doing? How's life?
Oh, I'm great.
You
I'm
don't
good.
sound so
Things have
sure about
no,
that.
I'm good. Things have been a little crazy, as you already know. A nice mug. Um,
Stole it.
just a little hectic, right? We've had a lot going on uh, that we'll update everybody on top of sports and just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, working and being a mom. So, yeah, but happy to be back. Definitely missed recording with you.
Yeah. So, I feel like there was a few reasons, but it all kind of fell into a forced situation, like a forced rest, forced break. So, um, top of the reasons, burnout, needing a bit of a break, but also my body forcing a break because I don't think I was going to take it unless my body forced me to do so. Unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way.
No, yeah.
But yeah, so to try to like kind of keep things summarized short, I was in the hospital for an infection in my spine, aka dyskitis, osteomyelitis. And it all was kind of sudden and happened very quickly. And now it feels like it's just lasting forever. But in a nutshell, I started getting fevers like once every 14 days, once a week. It kind of varied. Then finally, after I got third fever, Des, you were like, we're going to urgent care. Just to like, because it's not normal, just getting fevers, not getting sick. And then, just kind of feeling wiped out for a few days afterwards and then getting back into normal life. Just been like, what is happening? So the urgent care, I have to say, was great. I don't think I've ever experienced a good experience at urgent care. I feel like there's a few reasons it usually goes wrong. It's like one, being trans, people either, uh, you know, don't know how to deal with you or like kind of seem weird or they just don't notice at all because they didn't really look at your chart. But the doctor we had was great. She was super kind and very thorough. And it's another thing you don't really expect these days, especially. She was very thorough, spent a lot of time with us, ordered a lot of tests. And one of those tests was a culture, a blood culture, something they give you to make sure you don't have sepsis, basically. Uh, and like the next day, I had to get like labs the next day and stuff because the lab was closed or whatever. Did the chest x-ray shit. That was all fine. My blood work came back and basically was given the you're good to go, like we don't know what's happening. Here's a referral to a rheumatologist and have a good life. And but then like 4 days later, we get a phone call at 3 a.m. Uh, and they're telling me to go to the ER because when my blood cultures came back positive, because they're supposed to let them go for like 5 days basically to see if anything grows, and they didn't give it enough time, so they kind of prematurely gave me the like you're good signal. But then I got a call from another doctor slash nurse telling me like go to the ER because this is not good, like this is not normal. And I was just like, are you sure? I don't have a fever right now, I feel fine. And then he was like, well, if you want to drag your feet, like I think you like we were talking forever, just being like, are you sure? And
You
then
were
him
on the
being
phone with him for
like,
like 5 minutes
yeah.
trying to convince him that you were okay and you did not need to go to the ER.
Yeah. And so he was like, if you want to drag your feet, and then I'm just like, who am I kidding? You're already dressed and ready to go, and like already calling your dad to like come watch the kids and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, she's not gonna let me stay here. I just wanted to keep sleeping. I was like,
I
can I
heard
just go when I wake
everything.
up? But he was like, well, the good news is that the ER won't be as busy, which he was right. I'm glad we went when we went. But even so, we were in the ER for like a full 24 hours and got there. They took some more blood, did EKG, ultrasound, and then part of it is that I was also complaining of back pain. And that's the thing. I've had back issues for quite some time and it's been painful. And my insurance kept denying any treatment for it, like cortisone shot. I was hardly able to get an MRI approved, but I finally did. And I was trying to move forward to get a cortisone shot because I have the herniated discs, degenerative discs, and they didn't approve it because they wanted me to do PT first, and I'm just kind of like, cool. We could do both, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I'm in pain. And the hard part too is like they would be more okay with prescribing you pain medication than they would you getting a cortisone injection. It doesn't make sense. And this is why we're all
Yeah.
addicted to opioids.
Yeah.
But now they're getting stingy with that. So I'm kind of like, will my doctor even give me pain
Hmm.
medication if I really need it again? So they're just like, back pain, you're fucked. But anyways, told them about the back pain situation. Of course, it gets worse when you have a fever in general. So I just didn't really think of that being a clue, towards something that could be causing this.
Yeah.
But they did. They just right away marked it as like the main thing. And then we waited, what, like 8 hours for MRI?
8 to 10. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
late that
So
night.
we were just waiting, and luckily though, I am thankful. I don't know how this happened. They moved me and you to an observation room, so it was basically having your own hospital room within the ER. That was not the case the last time I was there. I was in the hallway for almost 24 hours, and that was awful. I think maybe it was like, I don't know, 15 hours actually, but
It
it was
was a
still
long
too much.
time. Yeah.
So I was thankful and surprised that they moved us to an observation room because that made it a lot better because it was like you got quiet and it was like an actual like room. You could hear yourself thinking and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then finally got the MRI, which sucked because I'm claustrophobic. And when it's your back, and they were doing my whole back. So it was going to be an hour and 30 minutes, which it was a whole fucking hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, and you're in the machine completely. And I'm claustrophobic. I always get the sedative before I do knee. Doesn't matter because my head's still kind of out. Anything else though, it's rough. I start to panic and I move, and even if I don't push the button thing, I move too much because I'm trying not to panic. So they wouldn't give me a sedative. Like they were going to give me 1 milligram of Ativan. I'm like, that's not going to do anything. I take that as needed already.
You
So
take that
I,
to take the edge off of like
yeah,
a typical day
a
sometimes.
day, like just a typical day, not like a claustrophobic situation. I mean, I don't take it every day,
No.
um, but I take it frequent enough to know what effect it's going to have on me, and it's going to be hardly anything.
Yeah.
And so we finally talked one of the nurses into giving me one Valium. Um, and I don't understand. Like I had an IV too, and they were like making a big deal of timing it right. So they're like 45 minutes before, we'll make sure to give this to you. And if it doesn't kick in, basically you got to start all over. Like if you take your turn, you go to the machine and you freak out, you go to the back of the line. You don't just start over in there. So that
And
sucked.
you literally
Uh,
waited over like 10 hours for that first one. So,
yeah. So I was just like, okay, this one Valium isn't doing much, but I'm gonna suck it up because I don't want to fucking wait any longer. So we get in there, do the thing. I even used like a blindfold so that I couldn't like see myself visually being in a tube, and that actually did help a lot. But I started getting really uncomfortable because you're an hour and 30 minutes on a hard surface. There's nothing under your head. So started getting like these pressure points in my head. And I was just like, try not to like squeeze the bulb that they give you. And I was roasting. Like that machine gets hot after a while. And I had a beanie on and pants, like sweats and stuff. And so I just started like sweating. And so I had like a massive headache, and I wanted to like sit up for a second because they pull you out when you have 30 minutes left and then do the contrast dye. And I was like, can I sit up for a second? And they're like, nope, because we can't have you move and be in a different position. And I was just like, motherfucker.
Hmm.
Um, so barely made it out. I didn't need to give that much detail on that story. Just a memory decided to pop back into my head about that whole experience.
That was very
So
traumatic.
yeah, I mean, I feel like this whole hospital stay was this exposure situation. You know, you got no privacy. You got strangers coming in your room constantly. You got people asking about your poop. Like, I have never been asked so many times about my poop and like asked to go in detail. It's a lot. But anywho, so the MRI showed that I had a lot of edema in my L5 disc space. So that was kind of the red flag. And then they decided to treat me for dyskitis, osteomyelitis, and started me on IV antibiotics right away. I
That night,
thought I
yeah.
was gonna be there for a few days, and kind of had an idea like through the weekend as we kind of got into things. But then come Monday morning, we figured, okay, we're gonna go home. They had like stopped the antibiotics, or so we thought. But then, plot twist, they decided they were going to continue antibiotics with like the neurosurgeon's suggestion, because I guess there's less blood flow going to your back in the disc space, so it takes longer for it to actually like clear out infection. But so they put a PICC line in me and then kept me for 2 more days because they want to watch you after they put in the PICC line and stuff. And now here we are with a PICC line, not able to really work out. Uh, like I can't even do cardio. I can walk and I can do light legs, but I
Yeah.
can't get my heart rate up too high for an extended period of time. So it's been a mental battle, and I think just being in the hospital, having a lot of time to think and like looking, over things and just being like, uh, I wouldn't say necessarily beating myself up, but just being like, dude, you got to make changes. Like, you actually got to fucking change something, because this is definitely in one way or another related to stress. Like your body can fight shit off when it's not so stressed. So I'm kind of like, I feel like my stress levels definitely contributed to this. And yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was unfortunately like it was bound to happen in some form. Your body was bound to be like, we're done, because you were already just running on fumes, you know?
Yeah. Since like even before all this happened, I was definitely not feeling great. I've told the story before. We talked about, the business coach fiasco, and I'm still feeling the effects of that. It doesn't just end when your contract's up. It doesn't just end when you stop paying this person. You are trying to constantly dig yourself out of a hole of debt, a hole of like not trusting yourself and losing confidence, not just in your coaching abilities or your decision making abilities, but your confidence in the actual career that I chose, my job as a coach, and being like, is this still helpful for people, or am I just contributing to this problem and fucking people over? Like, I just got fucked over, which I'm not charging $24,000. But it's one of those things that gets in your head, and I was just like, I never want to make anyone feel the way that I feel right now, or like
Yeah.
do to someone what I'm going through, or cause something along those lines. So it's just been a lot. I feel like it's almost I would say just being this like really dark, deep hole. And then I've like climbed out of the hole or at least like gotten to the top. But I'm still struggling to like not get sucked back, like you're
Hmm.
just, it's like
Yeah.
things are better, but still really fucking hard at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. And not only, are you still dealing with the fallout of the business coach scam, but, you're also trying to, keep up with the algorithms and, create content that people want to see and that people do see, and fighting against the crazy drama that Instagram pretty much requires you to create in order to have your stuff seen. And so you've been kind of killing yourself for a while trying to just make everything work on top
Yeah.
of that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, you've been through a lot.
And it's like basically fighting myself, you know, trying to like, while feeling exhausted, continue on the current, path of things. And it's like when you're, in debt from a business coach and then the economy is not doing well, you're in this position that feels like the scarcity you felt when you first started your business, essentially.
Mhm.
Only worse, because it's
Yeah.
like you got more to lose. And so that stress definitely weighed heavy. And then in those moments where things are slow, there's this, push, like you need to do absolutely everything in these moments and not, let your foot off the gas. So I was just trying so hard to like stay consistent with everything and not pull my foot off the gas, but then I hit a wall. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've had your foot on the gas pretty much like to the floorboard for the past 7, 8 years.
Yeah, truth. Very,
And
very true.
so, like, eventually your brain is like, no,
Yeah.
we can't.
Yeah. And it really just made me want to do things differently, even if it's more of a mindset shift than anything. Like, I still want to try to, keep up the consistency with my podcasts, for example, and stuff like that. But I want to shift, like, not worrying about the algorithm and just worrying about
Yeah.
um, trying to help the people that I want to help and keep that in mind. And that is it. Because again, like you mentioned, the algorithm favors drama and polarizing content. And as a coach, that just doesn't really fit into the
It's
type of
not who you
content.
are either.
No. Yeah. It's like there's plenty of like fitness people out there that are making polarizing content. Um, but they're just like creators and influencers. It's not because like they're coaches. It just is not the type of content that makes sense
Yeah.
for me. But also the connection piece is missing. And I miss the days where we would just post something without having a reason, really thinking about it, not worrying, are other people who follow me even going to see this?
Mhm.
Just something that you feel is like worth sharing in the moment, not overthinking it and just connecting and putting up, being real, not over editing or overthinking things. So like basically I'm trying to like create from that standpoint instead of just thinking about working the algorithm, because that's fast track to burnout. And I feel like that's why you're seeing so many creators burn out right now.
It's crazy. There's so much burnout and in all of the realms of Instagram and TikTok and stuff. It's just you can't keep up with it. You're not a machine. I think that's something that um, you you definitely had to kind of sit back and accept during this whole process. Was that like no matter how much you wanted to keep pushing and going and going and going, like you're not a machine. Um, and you do have to take breaks. You do have to rest, and productivity does not equal worth, right?
Yeah.
And that's been a really hard lesson. It's a hard lesson for me still. So,
Yeah, I know that you struggle with the similar things, so at least we kind of get to work on it together.
yeah, I don't know how many times you've told me on the weekend, just sit down.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You can just like rest. Like, what? What do you mean I have to? No.
Yeah. Yeah. And even, even throughout the whole hospital fiasco, it was like, trying to get you to sleep, take care of yourself. Like you're just, busting your ass, run around, staying at the hospital with me on like the world's most uncomfortable bed. I wouldn't even call it a bed, bench. So yeah,
That was quite the learning experience for me, for sure.
yeah. So like next time, just leave my ass in the hospital and be like, I'm going home.
No,
I'm going
no,
home to sleep because this is
no.
awful.
No, it's not that it was awful. It was just I was trying to do too much. I when your partner is going through something crazy like this, it's kind of terrifying. And then on top of that, I have PTSD. And so I had I felt this urge to be with you pretty much every moment I could to like monitor you because I'm a nurse or doctor and they were not qualified to keep their eye on you. I had to do it. No, but yeah, so hindsight's 2020, right? Like um not that we want a next time around, but I think that it's definitely important for me to not run myself around as much and probably not stay every night at the hospital, like maybe sleep every other night. I'm still not going to leave you. Like it's not I'm not going to just let you stay there the whole time without me. But definitely learned some things about taking care of myself because ultimately it was like one of the days I got to where like my heart was just racing no matter if I was sitting or driving. And I looked at my watch and my heart rate was like over 100, just chilling. And I was like, I'm not okay, and
Yeah.
I was like, at one point I got a little like, tightness in my chest and I was like, okay, I need to find a way to calm down because I'm no good to anybody if I'm having a stroke or a heart attack or something because I stress myself out too much.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, that was a really tough realization for me to have that I'm that I was not a machine or superwoman. Um, and that I also needed to drink water and like get some
Yeah.
sleep and eat and do all those things that apparently you're supposed to do to sustain your life.
Yeah, those things, those are important.
But yeah, it was an experience for both of us and they were very good to us. It was just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like it was one of the better hospital experiences I've had. Not that I've had a ton.
You've
I'm
had
just
quite a bit.
comparing it. Well, I mean, like, I've not literally the only times, like, the four times of my life, two of them have been you, where I've had to go to the emergency room. Uh,
Yeah.
like, that ended up being multiple day hospital stays, which is, yeah, so sorry for that. Everything else has been minor. Like, my first emergency room trip, I think I got stung by a bee and I started having an allergic reaction. I was really young. I can only very vaguely remember it. Like I remember, but there's probably a lot that I don't. Then one, I got cellulitis after a knee surgery. So I needed like antibiotics. And then that's it. I've never had to like go to the emergency room. So sorry for the unlucky years that you've had to, take my stubborn ass there.
It's so interesting you say it like that because I have such a different perspective. I I
How
I
so?
I mean, let's be honest. You've learned a lot about listening to your body, right? How much have you been pushing through that you shouldn't have, right? And ignoring and saying, I'll be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And so like I guess, yeah, having me be a little bit more um persistent about going to the doctor for things has probably changed things for you because I think there are plenty of times you probably should have gone to the doctor a little sooner uh,
Probably.
and had some medical care. But, you try to just kind of tough it out. And so I think this is another one of those situations where you learned that you can't do that
Yeah.
all the time, and you have to really, you're paying a lot more attention to your body than you were before.
Yeah, that's definitely a big lesson learned here. So I'm gonna keep trying to pay better attention. Mostly because I just don't want to end back in this position, right?
Yeah.
It's better to kind of chill out, and so you don't end up 6+ weeks not in the gym.
Oh my gosh, right? I know at
But
the same time you've been like trying to like manage what you tell me about how you're feeling because you're like, I don't want her to take me back to the ER.
exactly. It was like I've gotten a couple of fevers, since being home, and that's been the other side of things. That's been drama because it's kind of like, why am I getting more fevers? I'm hoping it's just that residual. You're just still, your body's still doing its thing. It's still
Hmm.
too soon. But as of today, 10 days without a fever, knock on wood, it's a new record for right now. If I can get to 15 days, we should have a party. But it's like we're going to celebrate 15 days fever free. So yeah, I'm glad that I have not gotten one since the last one. They're just very draining. But why was I talking about this?
I'm just not ignoring your body and learning to pay more
Yeah.
attention to it.
Yeah, like I always want to make sure that something is happening before I tell you anything. I always make sure that I know that I'm getting a fever for sure before I say anything because I don't want to like freak you out for nothing. So basically, my rule is if it goes over 99.5, then I tell you.
I mean, that's fair. Especially because like the first 2.5 weeks after we got back, I like obsessively like checked your temperature pretty much and like your current physical state a lot. It was a lot. I know that. I know. I'm working on it.
uh, but hey, you've saved my life a few times already. So, you know, you're typically pretty on point with things. Um,
Haven't been wrong yet.
no, no, you haven't. That's true. So, probably best to just keep listening to you. Your track record's a little better than mine. So,
It is. It's true. And plus, you don't. We're kind of to the point where you don't even have to tell me at this point. I kind of just know.
yeah, for sure. Like, I could be 1 degree above where I'm supposed to be. And like, maybe I'll kind of be feeling weird. And then you instantly just like see me and then find a way to touch me to see like if my skin's hot. And then you're like,
Not
you just
okay.
like sniff it out
I
immediately.
do. I could just look at you and be like, no, he's not feeling well.
I'm
Like
like, I'm
that. Remember
fine.
that the last fever you got Saturday? I was like, "Are
Yeah.
you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And you're like, "I'm okay. I'm just cold." And I'm like, "Uh-huh. Okay." And then what happened the next day? That's like
Full on fever.
full on fever. And I was like, "Damn." Like I'm a little witchy. I got a little sixth sense or something. Anyways.
yeah. But I mean, ultimately, so I think the biggest lesson, takeaway, thing to focus on that I want to continue trying to focus on is, like stress management and, not pushing myself to the edge. And I know it's going to be a learning lesson, like push, pull, and trying to figure out what is going to push me over the edge and what is not. But just, you know, slowing down a little bit trying to take a different perspective. And when it comes to this situation right now where I can't work out, I was definitely just mentally fighting myself over it for the first 2 weeks, and it was causing myself a lot of anxiety because I was basically trying to find ways to get my PICC line removed. My brain was just like, we got another fever. Maybe this means we're not going in the right direction. Maybe I can convince the doctors that it's not an infection and we should, pull the line out. Or maybe we can find that it is autoimmune and we can pull the line out, like, but then I don't want an autoimmune disease. So that's kind of fucking stupid too. But at the same time, I was just like, how can I get this thing out of me? And then I realized no one was going to take this out of me.
They're not going to do it.
I am in basically PICC line prison. They've got the keys, and
Yeah.
the only way
And
out
I'm
is
the
if
warden.
yeah, you're the warden. So my only way out is to make a, uh, somehow make a shiv or something and, cut this thing out of me myself or, but I don't think that's worth the pain and possible death. So it's staying in for now. And I think I just surrendered and I just told myself, or I realized, I'm always looking for a challenge. I like having goals and I want to always be challenged by something. And that's why it's so hard when things like this happen. I can't challenge myself physically. I feel like I'm not pushing or making progress. And then I was just kind of like, you know what? Pushing myself physically has become a discomfort that I've become more comfortable with. It's not comfortable, but I've gotten comfortable with it. The discomfort
Yeah.
is a familiar discomfort. And so I just decided I think this is probably a time that it's better spent working on things that are mentally challenging and mentally uncomfortable, whether that's, exposures for OCD, whether that's forcing myself to rest, sitting in the discomfort of body image issues, just all the things, or even if it's like doing something fun, like playing a game on my phone instead of feeling like I should be being productive. So the challenge is basically the opposite of what you would normally challenge someone to do. It's like, here's the challenge, do less and rest. It's not something that I, prescribe often as a coach. There are some, it's, if you're that typical type A that just like does too much.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that challenges are different for different phases in life for different people. And so I'm trying to look at this as a phase of working on mental challenges and pushing myself there so that I can get to my other goals along the road as well. Because I'm always going to have to learn how to be mentally tough. That goes for any goals. So it
Yeah.
pays off regardless. So I'm just trying to be like, I'm going to pretend this was a planned phase of my training and just going to try to surrender the best I can and do the things that make me proud right now that I feel like is progress in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully I'll make it out and be able to look back and be glad of happy about the things that I did do during this time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's not been easy for you. I remember when you were in the hospital and they told you were going to get a PICC line, and I'm pretty sure like every single doctor we talked to, you're basically like, so like, how much can I lift? Like, can I work out? What are my exact like specific limitations? Because
Yeah.
like I can't not lift. And they kind of looked at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I know.
And they're like, you need to take this seriously. The PICC line and the antibiotics need to be your priority. You need to be in recovery right now. And you're like, no, I'll figure it out. And it was so interesting to watch you just fight mentally. It was also very hard because, I know how important the gym is to you and stuff, but, um, you had to come to that realization to that basically you it doesn't matter how much you're in the gym if you're like getting fevers every week and if you're feeling like shit and you're ill, like that's not your physical health has to come over, come priority before anything, or else nothing else really matters, right? So I think it's put some stuff into perspective for both of us there. Like, um, sometimes you have to surrender, but you've done a really good job. Like, I know this has not been easy for you. It's like one big fat, um, what's it called? Exposure, like a really
Yeah.
long, uncomfortable one. But considering how your life was kind of just turned upside down overnight, like, you know, you're
Yeah.
hanging in there. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, it's because usually when I have breaks like this, it's something I can mentally prepare for. It's not easier per se, but it's something I can kind of mentally prepare for. I will be as
Hmm.
consistent as possible with nutrition and fitness to the point where I'm basically ready for a break because I'm tired because I've been pushing myself. And then this comes along and I wasn't feeling great before, so my consistency in the gym was probably like the lowest it's been in a very, very long time, which I was already beating myself up for and just being like, God, I'm losing muscle. I feel and look like shit. And so not only did I go into the hospital, basically just sitting in bed and walking around the hospital for 7 days, I knew I had 6 more weeks of not being able to work out and wasn't consistent beforehand. So basically, I feel like this break right now that I'm having is worse, if not like equivalent to the phalloplasty recovery time, because it was about 7 weeks, I think, when I got back in the gym post phalloplasty. And I'm like, this is definitely the same. And I lost a lot of muscle then, and I'm losing a lot of muscle now. And it's sad and it's hard.
Yeah.
But again, I'm trying to look at it as like, this is hard mentally because this is a mental challenge. So I'm like, you can do it. You're strong. You can handle this mental challenge, and you'll build back and look back and be like, yeah, I did that.
Absolutely.
Just sucks when you're in the moment because you're like, I am not there
Yeah.
yet.
You're like, this is painful. I just want to get a pump.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like I can do half-ass stuff. So it doesn't really give you that same like endorphin feeling afterwards. It's not anything that's exciting. It's just something you have to do. It's like I can't even take like a nice warm shower that covers my whole body because my arm can't get wet. So I'm just looking forward to just not thinking about doing things and you know living normal life. And
Getting your life back, but hopefully a
yeah,
better life, a
yeah,
redirected focus.
yeah. And I know, one other kind of silver lining thing to it is that I have been struggling with back pain for quite some time and not been able to get anywhere with it. And so this brought me to a neurosurgeon by default. And I have follow up appointments with him because I asked him if there's anything that could be done for my disc issue. And I've never seen someone who actually was like possibly having a potential solution for it. I'm not sure if it's one that will be right for me. We haven't discussed it yet, but he talked about um, a disc replacement. And so, if that's something that could potentially help my pain and stuff like that, I might be able to actually find something that will help. And before, I was
Yeah.
just at a dead end, like I was going nowhere with that.
Yeah,
Um,
you had kind of just said like, well, I guess I have to accept I'm gonna live like this in this pain
yeah,
forever. And it's like, fuck that.
yeah. And so, like, after all this, I'm also realizing, like, how much pain I've actually been trying to ignore. And you can't really filter out, well, what is a dangerous pain and what's a normal pain anymore because you've just trained yourself to block it all out. Unless it's like so excruciating that you just can't ignore it anymore. But so to potentially feel like I could be in even less pain is kind of crazy and hopeful, but I don't want to get my hopes up either.
Yeah. Hopefully he can help you figure out a
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah. And I know the solution isn't just to go straight into a surgical situation, which is why we need to ask more questions and talk about the pros and the cons. But at least it's someone who they seem experienced and have
Yeah.
helped, people in the past. And so it doesn't hurt. Like I haven't even been able to see an actual like spine or like a neurosurgeon, any sort of specialist, because they just push me off to a pain management doctor, but then also to a guy who was a spine specialist, but we never saw the actual doctor. It was always the physician's assistant. So literally
Yeah.
never saw the doctor, and they only wanted to do either stem cell or PRP on me. And well, that's a lot of money I don't have. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. It was sucky that that was their only option for you. Like, pay a bunch of cash for this and it might not work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we can always go on the rant of our medical system and just how everything fucking is expensive right now and sucks. But that's like a whole nother episode.
It's bad. It's bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
So let's see
any
how many days, how many weeks do we have left on the pick line? Is it 2.5 now?
um I think it's like almost 2.5, like a little over 2.5. Or maybe we just hit 2.5 today. Yeah. Because Wednesday.
Yeah.
So basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's getting there. I'm hoping it'll go fast the last couple of weeks, because weeks I feel like go by so much faster than they used to, and sometimes you're like, damn, how is it November? How did we get here? How does it 19th of
Yeah.
November?
Yeah,
So I'm
for sure.
hoping that'll be like the same case. I'll be like, damn, how is it already time to get this removed? Probably not, but I can be somewhat positive. But yeah, so
I think the days are not as long once you've kind of managed to kind of accept it. It's not,
yeah.
because you're not constantly thinking about how can I get this thing out of my body. And so that makes it a little harder, right?
Yeah. So if I just stop fighting it, I think it's going to go a little better for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so any kind of last lessons or anything you want to talk about that you feel like might be, I don't know, useful, or just that you want to share?
Let's see. Yeah, I think just it's a really good thing that you're sharing this experience with people, because I know a lot of people see you as like their coach, and they're kind of like, you know, um they're super they're role model, and you feel like you have to have this, like very strong persona that's like never having issues, and like, you know, just always hitting the gym and always doing the things, right? And like, because you're like, I have to lead by example, and that's one thing I love so much about you. But it's really good, I think, for people to understand like we're all human, and you do have to listen to your body, and you do have to take care of your stress level. It's important for people to understand that like we are all humans and we all struggle, and it's okay to admit when you need to step back or take a break or slow down. And productivity is not always equal, does not equal worth. It does not make you a better person if you're going 24/7. It doesn't, and I get it that we have to, in this day and age, especially this country, like we're in this race to like survive, right? Especially small business owners, and people trying to make it, right, without 9 to 5 jobs. And it's hard right now. It's hard to say, yeah, I can take my foot off the gas a little bit because things feel a little crazy. And so, but you just have to remember, like your mental health can cause lots of issues, not only like in your brain but in your body, and it can really affect you. So it's important to take care of that, more so than anything, really. You're, so quite the learning experience for us. Um,
Yeah.
and we both really learned a lot from this, like a lot. It was a painful lesson. a very
Yeah.
It's been very painful, but we're getting through it. So um
Yeah.
looking forward to being back on the podcast and just getting our groove back on, and putting stuff out there that people like to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And we'll definitely have a focus on stress and burnout. I think that's always going to be a big piece of this just because it's so important. And I feel like we got used to talking about it, but maybe not so much about like implementing or how to actually like not be stressed and burned out. I don't know. Um, I'll let you know when I find
Coming
out, but
soon.
yeah, my course on how to get out of burnout. Just kidding. Um, I mean, the shit part is I got burned out too because of like something that happened. It was like a third party burnout situation, like because of the business coach, not because I'm like, oh, I hate my job. It's not like that.
Mm-mm.
So
No,
just so
yeah.
people know. But yeah, I think it's hard to. I feel like the more years I'm a coach, the harder time I have talking about these types of struggles because you're supposed to be this person, like you mentioned, people look up to her. You feel like you're supposed to have all your shit together. And then when you have moments where you don't, you're just kind of like, oh, are people going to think that I'm not capable or I don't like practice what I preach if XYZ happens? Um, but I think it doesn't mean that I'm less of a coach or that I'm a bad coach or whatever. It just means I'm human. And
Amen.
sometimes, we don't always practice what we preach and keep pushing ourselves into the ground off the ledge. But yeah, I will always, teach what I learn from these situations.
I think that's such a good thing about you is that you're willing to share your struggles and your wins, right? That's the important part of helping people feel like they can relate and that um, it's okay to be human after all, right?
Yeah, even though I wish I could be a machine, but maybe eventually we'll be able to add some, you know, machine limbs. But yeah. Anywho, or maybe if my spine could just be like robotic, then I wouldn't feel pain as much. But
We just
you
gotta get
know,
it fixed.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, I know you have a call soon, so we should probably wrap things up.
Oh yeah.
Um, any
Oops.
last words for the audience today?
I don't think so. Just everybody hang in there. I know it's crazy right now.
Yeah,
Just
lots of things
keep on
happening.
keeping on and take care of yourselves.
Yeah. All right. So, thanks for joining in again. We are back at it. So, hopefully, you'll follow along. Appreciate you listening this far. And we will talk to you next time. Peace.
Bye.